It is my great honor to introduce our convocation speaker, Dr. Patrick Tutwiler, our Secretary of Education for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. A graduate of the College of the Holy Cross with a Master's in Education from Harvard University's Graduate School of Education and a Ph.D. in Curriculum and Instruction from the Lynch School of Education at Boston College, Secretary Tutwiler is Governor Maura Healey's top advisor on all matters pertinent to education. And he is the first Black person in the Commonwealth's history to serve in that critical position. Mr. Secretary, with more than 20 years of experience as a teacher, principal, and superintendent in urban and suburban school districts in our Commonwealth, and as a tireless champion of educational equity, your career has placed you in the rarefied air of educators that have the 360-degree view, understanding of public education. As superintendent of the Lynn Public Schools, you've led a collaborative, equity-centered effort that resulted in increased graduation rates, decreased push-out rates, and a more racially diverse faculty and staff, and the establishment of the second largest early college program in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Mr. Secretary, you have fostered a culture of belonging, a culture of respect, a culture of excellence everywhere you have served. And your experience reflects the Commonwealth's cultural wealth. Without question, reinventing education along these lines requires educational structures to accommodate the life experiences, the values, the aspirations, the identities of all our students. Mr. Secretary, your dedication to and leadership on invigorating pedagogy at every level has driven education stakeholders across the Commonwealth to put students and families first. As you have written, quote, educators must be committed to the student, the teachers, and the craft of teaching. We could not agree more. Please join me in giving an incredible, warm beacon welcome to our Secretary of Education, Dr. Patrick Tutwiler.
Good morning. Ooh-wee. So I was raised in the call and response tradition, that sort of reciprocal energy thing. Good morning.
Good morning.
B+, better. Okay. It is really wonderful to be here with you all this morning. I want to start by congratulating the newly tenured faculty and by welcoming the new faculty and everyone into this new school year. And I really appreciate how you are doing it in spirited fashion here this morning. I also want to thank the Chancellor for the invitation to be here with you. I had the great privilege of breaking bread with the Chancellor last week, and let me tell you, anyone who's had the precious opportunity to connect with you, Chancellor, will immediately know and feel your passion and your commitment for social justice, ensuring that every student has a path toward where he, she, or they want to be in their lives. And it is a pleasure to know you, and even more meaningful to me personally to call you my colleague. So thank you again for the invitation. Now, For everyone else, we are just meeting each other for the first time, and I feel duty-bound to share with you that I have a formula for speech making. Those who know me have heard this before. It's something I call my 3B formula. That is, be good, be brief, and be seated. And so you can count on me being brief this morning, and I plan to be seated upon completion. The good part, of course, is up to you to be the judge. I want to share with you that I'm a big believer in the idea that you can't separate ideas from the person. It's my intention this morning to share some ideas with you, and then I have a formal request of everyone in the room as well. But before doing so, I think it's important just to share a little bit about me. Quickly, I was raised in a single-parent household along with my big brother, Timmy. We spent the better part of our early life moving a lot, and I do mean a lot. Born in Chicago, moved to Champaign, Illinois to Austin, Texas to St. Paul, Minnesota. Now, immediately when I share that with folks, they say, oh, someone's in the military. No. All of those moves related to my mother's journey as an educator, actually. Teaching for many years in Illinois, earning a doctorate at the University of Texas in Austin, then back to the classroom at the college level, teaching aspiring teachers in St. Paul. Through all of this, my brother and I watched very closely. With the deep knowledge of an educator and the fierce love of a mother, we watched her fight for my brother and me to ensure that we received the best possible education, no matter what state we found ourselves. We watched her safeguard our potential, respectfully disagree about our placements, labels even, that might otherwise have attached themselves not only to our transcripts, but internally to our view of ourselves as learners. We watched her type a dissertation on a typewriter. We watched. These experiences inform who I am as an educator in so many ways, an educator who operates from a firm set of core values, the core of which is love for students. That matters. An educator who seeks to listen and to understand the stories and experience of students and their families, because I know that having that understanding, validating those experiences, is key to a successful partnership. An educator who will respectfully and almost never apologetically disagree when a decision does not center students and their best interests at its core, because that matters. An educator who feels strongly that the mark of a thriving and healthy school is its ability to reach and elevate its most underserved population. I said I wouldn't go on long here this morning, and I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it there. But I thought it was important to share with you a little bit about who's sharing the ideas this morning, because that matters. Now that's me. On to the ideas. We've been at it now for just about 9 months, and I typically introduce myself as the new Secretary of Education, and I'm intentional about using that descriptor new because I think with newness comes forgiveness and understanding. But since the very first day, and I do mean the first day in this role, folks have been asking me about my vision for education across the Commonwealth. And I'm the type of person who believes deeply that a sustainable vision can't be imposed. It must be formed collaboratively with active involvement of the communities it impacts. In our vision for education in the Commonwealth, we have to be intentional to see those who the proposed shifts and enhancements will impact. We have to see the educators and the educational leaders in direct service roles. We have to see students and their families. So I have and will continue to dedicate significant time to hearing from students, educators, leadership, staff, caregivers, members of the education community, and partners. That includes this community, you. What I've seen and heard thus far in my role has made it abundantly clear that we continue to live and work in an interesting context that I frequently refer to as pandemic recovery. We continue to see and experience the ripple effects of the pandemic. With this perspective, in January, the Executive Office of Education developed a set of organizing principles designed to give shape to budget and policy initiatives to meet the present moment and years ahead. Those organizing principles are stabilize, heal, and transform. The use of the words stabilize and heal are deeply intentional and designed to convey that we are still in a recovery period. We're not back. There are major areas, staffing and mental health, by way of example, where we continue to experience great challenge which must be addressed if we are to stabilize and heal. But we didn't stop with the organizing principles of stabilize and heal. We're not just trying to get back. Including the principle transform was just as intentional. We're envisioning a future beyond what existed before. We're envisioning a future beyond what existed before the pandemic and are working toward creating lasting change that is not limited by previous goalposts. Our push to reimagine early literacy and the high school experience and transform access and supports during the higher education experience are a few among important places where we've dropped an anchor in the transform space. No doubt the priorities within this framework will evolve over time. They have to allow us to be nimble in addressing important issues that arise. The most recent Supreme Court case and decision eliminating race consciousness in higher education admissions is one example. We've got a lot of work to do in this state, and we believe this framework will add clarity and direction to our thinking. Now, I've said a little bit about me. I've offered you an idea, a framework. Now I have a request, and it's, I think, a fairly simple one. Run. Not away from here. Let me go on. We find ourselves in an interesting time, don't we? We're still wrestling with the ripple effect of the pandemic and wrestling with some important questions. The Chancellor certainly alluded to this. Who has a seat at the table where decisions are made that will impact people's lives? Whose needs will we champion? Who will define the future? I ask you to run because it feels like the right verb to capture the urgency of not just the questions that I posed, but a myriad of challenges we're experiencing in society. Yes, it also signals progressive and intentional movement towards something. Think about the concept of running, literally running. You must admit that there are countless moments up to this point where we've all been told not to run. You cannot run. No running in the hallways. No running by the pool. Stop running in the house. Slow down. I'm sure at some point most of you have even had that literal directive put into the old metaphorical caution, you have to learn to walk before you run. As young people, the adults in our lives have set these limits for many reasons, to protect us, to protect others potentially, to teach us lessons about preparation, not rushing into things before you know what you're doing. All valuable motives, but whatever the motivation, it seems that running is given a bad rap and limited place in our lives, particularly when we were younger. It's relegated to something you do only in your free time after all the serious business has been taken care of or tended to. Now, the Chancellor informed me in advance of today that we're in community this morning with faculty, staff, and some students, and I ask of all of you, I need you to start running and to become a runner in your lives. Now, you can certainly take that request literally, and I probably should do the same at some point, but the greater hope is that you view what lies ahead of you as a course and realize soon that being a runner on that course will bring to your journey certain principles that will make your life not a race nor even a competition, but a rewarding, authentic, impactful experience from start to finish. Be a runner in your life to have momentum, to be ever in pursuit of a goal. But even more, be a runner to be in control of that momentum, to find your personal balance in pursuit. The great Jesse Owens once said that, "I always loved running. It was something you could do by yourself and under your own control and power. You could go in any direction, fast or slow as you wanted, fighting the wind if you felt like it, seeking out new sights, just on the strength of your own feet and the courage of your lungs." Friends, as runners, go in any direction you choose, but towards something, always. Be your own source of power, your own strength. I know each of you here today has a reason for being in the seat where you're currently seated. For some of you, the reason is a goal, one that's been calling your name since before you can remember. For others, that reason is a person, the one who's been pushing you further than you ever pushed yourself. For others still, the reason is a curiosity that's been tugging at you long enough to land you here today. As a runner in your life, hold on to that reason. Think of it as the start line. When you question what you're running toward, as you will at some point, remind yourself what got you here. Be your own inspiration, your own competitor. Become a runner in your life to stay exuberant. When I was a little boy, long time ago, I could never understand why adults walked everywhere. I mean, we ran everywhere as kids, didn't we? And we never seemed to tire. We didn't run because we were trying to build endurance or reach a goal or lose a few pounds. We ran because we couldn't wait to get there, wherever there was. And it's that exuberance that I want you to exemplify on your course. Keep that little part of you that as a child that was so excited about the possibility of something that failure never entered your mind, and your eager anticipation left your body no choice but to run. Whether it's during your course selection for the students among us today, meeting new student communities, or designing the next research endeavor, find things here, big or little, that give you the same feeling you got the first time each summer when you saw the ice cream man. Run to those things with the same excitement that you ran after that truck. We all still have that in us. Run with it. Finally, be a runner in your life because you'll quickly learn that you must travel light. And that most successful and longest runs are those by those who travel with only what they truly need. As you move forward from this day, I hope you'll be quick to leave behind the stuff that will slow you down, that will get in the way on your course. Travel light and leave behind the weight of self-doubt, the heaviness of others' expectations, and the burdens of regret. Take with you only what you need and leave behind those who will not run beside you, or in the very least, move out of your way and cheer you on as you go. The truth is, friends, we need you to run. And we need you to treat this like a sprint, not a marathon. Each individual in this space has the potential to do great things, to solve pressing issues, and we're relying on you to get there. We're counting on the excellent instruction and experiences that the faculty and staff will deliver, and the gifts of skill and knowledge the students will grow to be part of the solution of the challenges we're experiencing. And that is why this is not just a suggestion, but a formal request. I'm sincerely asking. Far too long you've been cautioned to slow down, but now we're counting on you, cheering for you to speed up. I'll leave you with this. UMass Boston family, you have the tools, the mindset, the stuff to succeed in the course set in front of you. You have the countless options before you this fall for the students among us, and your job is to eagerly and hungrily go toward them, flexing those muscles of knowing yourself and pursuing what captivates you. It's no longer time to be cautious. You've walked before, I'm sure, and now it's time to run. Let's run. Let that run begin in earnest this week, and I wish you all the best for a wonderful school year ahead. Thank you for having me here this morning.